Hey, everybody, welcome to the True Crime Squad. I'm Christy Brower, here with my sister, co host, and partner in crime, Katie Weaver. Hey, Katie,
Hello.
how's it going?
Oh, it is going super good. I feel like we
Well,
were
glad
just
to hear
here.
that. Because we kind of were. We did put out an episode a little late today, but it's out. God damn it. It's out.
Well, I mean, there was just too many awesome things going down today. Not awesome. Too
Very
many,
interesting
well, some
day in the
awesome
true
things,
crime
but
world.
yeah, but lots of true crimey things going on. Wow.
It's true. It is very true. Yeah. Well, this is our case updates show. It's going to be a little different. We're going to update. Katie's got an update for us, and then we're going to spend the rest of this show updating what happens with Lori Vallow now,
Mhm.
and then we're going to go through the transcripts of her statement and her attorney's statement at the sentencing, and we're going to talk about it because we all need a little debrief. There was so much. I was shell shocked by the time that was over. We didn't talk about a lot of it because I don't even think either of us were even prepared yet to even. We hadn't even thought about it yet. It was just so wild.
Well, we
There's so
kind
much
of
bullshit.
missed, totally, and we kind of missed Thomas's statement because we went straight to Lori's because holy shit. But yeah, there was a lot
But
there
Thomas's
too.
statement, holy shit. Yeah. So we're going to talk through both statements and kind of hear what you all have to say and tell us and we'll tell you what we think and all that stuff. But before we get there, our favorite member of the FOS list, Nick Alahverdian. There's some news.
Nick, we've been waiting for this day for so long. It was announced today that the courts in Scotland have decided that, yes, indeed, that man is an American and he is eligible for extradition. We've been waiting and waiting. Turns out COVID didn't save your ass this time either, Nick.
Mm.
So he will be coming back. However, now the Scottish ministers have to take a look at the case and make the final decision on extradition. It's mostly a formality, so there really shouldn't be a lot of holdup there. But we're still looking at many months likely before we see old Nick ever return to the shores of the U.S. of A. Or back to the great state of Utah where he's headed. So he's still got some time to be, tormented in Scotland. But that's what's up. It's happening.
It is
Yeah.
happening. Well, and are his charges, are they out of Ogden? What are they out of? I was trying to
Oh,
remember.
they're out of Salt Lake City.
Are they out of Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's only 3 hours away for us. Guess who's going to be in those pews? These girls.
You betcha. This is the
Mm-hmm.
reason to
We've
go to
been waiting
Salt
for
Lake.
this.
Plus, if it's closer to
Mm-hmm.
Christmas time, that's pretty great, Nick. Thank you, really, because
Yeah, we kind
Salt
of
Lake
like to
City
go
at
there around
Christmas time
Christmas
is a
time.
very fun time to go. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
So,
And we'll go visit our favorite cousin, Amy.
yeah.
No offense to all of our other favorite cousins.
No, we have lots of you. We're really lucky that way, actually. But
We
yeah,
are.
so we've been waiting for this day for a damn long time, but it is confirmed.
We are going to get to be in the courtroom with that fool. I can't wait.
Hmm.
It's going to be great.
I'm
I
here for it.
mean, he's coming here for a sexual assault charge. I should not get too giddy. It is a not. It's a terrible thing that he did, but to see him getting his comeuppance. Also, I thought it was really funny. Do you know what he faked his death that he died from? Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yeah.
Do you know why that's kind of ironic?
Hmm.
Because non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is a very treatable form of cancer, and it doesn't have a very high death rate. Like Hodgkin's
Interesting.
lymphoma is like the one that is much more serious and that people don't always survive.
Hmm.
Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is one of those cancers that most people make it through.
Interesting.
I
And
saw, I saw that
supposedly,
today and I went, no wonder they were like, wait a minute. I mean, for a
Amongst
lot of reasons,
so
but I
many
thought,
other things,
if
but
you're gonna
yes.
fake something, fake like liver cancer or pancreatic cancer, something that's like takes you
Right?
quick.
Something that's
Yeah,
actually
he's an idiot.
treatable. Right, because with him, he was when he was diagnosed, it was already late stage and he only had weeks to live. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a strange diagnosis that he chose, I think. Anyway, just
Also, for all of us
just
that have
my two
lost
cents.
loved cancer, fuck you, Nick. Really.
I
For
know.
real.
Who've had it and yeah, lost people to it. Fuck off. All this.
Something else I read though that was pretty entertaining.
Anyone else, by the way, can you see them? They're this cool holographic greenish blue.
I
They're really
like them. I like them a lot.
don't want to sprain my middle fingers. I might need them.
No, gotta hold on to those. Well, one of the things that got me with him is, you know, how he's been pulling the whole not well enough to stand, atrophied legs, and the doctors were like, he has strong athletic legs. There's nothing wrong with these legs. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess just recently he kicked a guard in the face
With
with
those
those.
poor atrophied legs?
Yeah.
What?
So sorry to hear that for the guard's sake, but also, yeah, those little uh, puny atrophied legs that can't walk anymore. Okay.
Oh my God.
Or the
His
fact that he in court said he could not lift his arms over his head, and then leaving court, he did exactly that that very day.
waved with his arm over his head. It was so great.
Mhm.
Yeah, his lies have definitely unraveled to a point that he might really just stop with them, but he won't. He's
No,
probably won't.
he won't, but there's no keeping up with him. That's for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Did you see Amy had an update on Oliver Klein, the
I
missing
did.
kid from her city? A few
Yeah.
locals organized a search party. I didn't hear about it until afterward, or I would have been out there, but they still haven't found anything.
Oh.
Damn,
I'm
that's very
starting to think that
worrisome.
Oliver really flew the roost,
And maybe
like,
he did.
left the state.
And maybe he did, you know? Well, I hope best case scenario, that's what
Yeah.
happened. I hope that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, does Alahverdian ever say anything that's the truth? No. He also
No.
has two last names because he had a lot of people call him Rossi, but he's also gone by Alahverdian.
Mhm.
Besides the fact that he was also going by Arthur Knight.
Right. Rossi, I
In the
think, is
UK,
the
they call him
stepdad's
Rossi.
last name.
I think so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The stepdad also.
The stepdad is something else.
Whoa. Yeah. The
Yeah.
stepdad is an Engelbert Humperdinck impersonator.
Yeah. Oh, we talked about this. I think it was the week you missed this show.
Probably
We
so.
talked
Yeah.
about that because we had a lot of fun with if you were gonna impersonate somebody
Why
or
that
well, because
guy?
that's not really that guy's real name either. He changed his
No.
name to that.
Yeah.
Like what? Yeah,
Why are any of you? Any of this that? What?
right. Yeah, just funny.
Did you tell
Very
them then
funny.
that we have a cousin who legally changed his name to Ringo Starr?
I did not, but that is true. Yeah.
We do.
It's
Yeah. And also
yeah,
thinks he is Ringo Starr.
legit. Yeah. Thinks he is.
Yeah. That's for true.
Oi, wild. Uh no, he says my grandma and aunt both had it. My aunt was able to have a mastectomy and recover. Thank goodness for those that survive and thrive. Bless and always remember the ones that don't. Exactly. So faking
Yeah.
cancer is such bad, horrible shit. No word on Sophia Van Dam and her 2-year-old son missing for 5 weeks. Yeah, there's nothing. I have looked at that case and there's just nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Why
Why
didn't
didn't
you
I?
tell us that?
I didn't even think of it, but yeah, yeah, right. Joelle's like, Ringo Starr is the best Beatle. There's a whole
Right?
story about how they agreed to switch identities, and the real Ringo Starr got to go off and live his life without anyone knowing who he was, because of course that's all you needed was your name and not your face. Yeah,
Or your talent?
yeah,
So wild.
definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's get into our Lori Vallow sentencing debrief because I think we all
Ooh.
need it. I know if you are an
Yes.
ex Mormon, You or a Mormon, either. You're
Mm.
probably feeling very triggered by this whole thing. I definitely am.
Well,
We're
and
going
you
to
heard
talk
some
about that.
things said that you went, "Oh yeah, that sounds." I realized some of these things that were said. People are like, I keep seeing people on Twitter saying that John Thomas compared himself to Jesus. I was like, did he?
He
Well,
did. Hell
he
yeah,
did,
he
but
did.
that's really typical Mormon speak. So it didn't really grab me
It
the
is.
way it did other people. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we will get there. Creepy. And Cranky says, I'm not Mormon and I was triggered. Gotcha.
For
I
sure.
totally hear you. Okay,
Well, and
so
big
Katie, why
news
don't
today
you?
too.
Yeah. So why don't you start out with some? You had some stuff to share.
Yeah, I do. So, and this is brand new, just barely. I have to tell you, I scooped Justin Lum, and that just doesn't happen.
Ooh, ooh.
But this popped up today.
Oh,
This
I'll take
is
our banner down
the
so you can see what it says.
this is the arrest warrant for Lori. Now we got to talk about it because this is really interesting. This is for a murder in the first degree premeditated. The note on the filing is, and the filing is for today. Uh, and the note is filed for extradition proceeding. So basically, they have to go, their governor has to go to our governor and they have to work it out and make a plan. And it can take 90 to 120 days, or it could be faster, just depending on how
Hmm.
quick all of the process goes. But here's what's really interesting. Arizona has said all along they were charging her with two counts. One count of conspiracy to commit first degree murder, and these were grand jury indictments. And the other was conspiracy. Uh, well, it was also a conspiracy charge, but of attempted murder for Brandon
Attempted
Boudreaux,
murder.
right?
Yeah.
This is murder in the first degree,
Yeah.
premeditated. Why is that
Yeah.
so significant? Because that, if it stands the way it's written, the way we're seeing it, that would qualify for the death penalty in Arizona.
Yeah.
And when you think about what could happen with Lori going to Arizona,
Hmm.
already now being convicted of all of these other murders and conspiracy, not that the jury
Right.
would be allowed to take that into consideration, but not that they wouldn't because they're not, you know, idiots, they're human beings. Could she get the death penalty in Arizona? We don't know. It's we're not sure why the
It's
charge has changed.
possible.
So I'm
No,
guessing we'll
no,
see
but
some news on that in the next day or two, but
yeah, that is huge because
huge,
that
huge,
could
huge.
mean that even though Idaho wasn't able to get the death penalty done, Arizona will, or they won't. I don't know. Does it mean they aren't going after her for Brandon? I don't think so. But those two incidents didn't happen in the same county. So they have to figure out, I'm sure, what the jurisdiction is on it and all that stuff.
Hmm.
But it's pretty secondary to Charles's death, I think.
Hmm. This
Right.
is
Did
to
they
just,
get more info?
yeah, good question. And this is to get that ball rolling so that they can get
Yeah.
her moved. So I think she
Right.
shouldn't get too cozy there in Pocatello because she's not going to be there very long.
I think so. Yeah. I think that's true. And maybe they've got help from her niece on these cases. I don't know. Or is she just going to get off with nothing? Makes me sick.
It's so hard
Melanie
to
Boudreau
understand.
Pulaski, I just don't understand how
Yeah,
there either isn't testimony from her or charges for her, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I I don't get it. I'm still hoping that there are going to be charges.
Yeah. I am too. I am too. And that's just part of it is we just got to wait and
Hmm.
see because, as this whole thing has, it's taken time. They've played it out, they've done their thing. And I think it's important for us to remember that they need to take all the time that they can
Hmm.
in order to make sure that they have a solid case like Idaho did.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So very interesting. So we'll keep a really close eye on that. But here's Prison Barbie checked in and
Mm.
ready to lead the worship team.
Yeah,
Still with the smirk.
with the smirk.
She probably knows that this mugshot will go round the world, so she was putting on her
Hmm.
Lori show. But
For sure. I mean, she looks like crap,
you look like the Wicked
which
Witch of the West, Lori. I shouldn't
she
say that.
really
I like
does,
witches. But
right? No, she looks like a bridge troll to me, man. That face is
mhm.
just, it's not good.
No, and it just keeps falling further.
Yeah, she's not in prison garb there. I'm not exactly sure what they wear at Pocatello. The
Pocatello's kind of different. They don't call their inmates, they call them residents.
they do. There's
Yeah,
more than because they have a treatment side,
they do.
and which is where a friend of ours was at that prison. And
Yeah.
then the other side, which is like the more hardcore. Which I mean, she's a triple murderer. She'll go to the
Mhm.
more hardcore.
Yeah. Yeah. But that could just be what they transported her into,
Could be, yeah.
what she's wearing there. This is the Pocatello. Oh, that's a terrible picture. This is the Pocatello Women's Prison.
Hmm.
It sits up on the hill kind of above Pocatello, and they have a little under 400, around 350 at any one time, including Robin Lee Rowe is there.
Oh, was she in
Mhm.
Pocatello? I always wondered. Wow.
She is. Yep, that's the only woman on death row in Idaho. And she's been on death
Hmm.
row for a good 30 years.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
She murdered her family too.
Hmm.
She burned down their house.
Yep.
Terrible person.
Yep. Yep. The absolute worst.
Yeah.
Uh, and the prison is so right now she has to have a whole bunch of evaluations: a mental health evaluation, a dental evaluation, a physical health evaluation. There's all of these different things that they have to do to decide exactly where to put her and also what her needs are and long term needs could be so that they know exactly how to treat her moving forward. I suspect it'll be kind of for naught that they're going to start into that process and she's going to be jerked out of Idaho and head to Arizona for a while anyway. And then we'll
Hmm.
see if she returns to Idaho at some point or if Arizona keeps her, or there's a lot of things we don't know right now about
Yeah.
how that
There's a
process
lot up in the air for
is
sure.
going to play out. Yeah.
No, we did an episode on Robin Lee Rowe. So if you just
We did,
do a search of our YouTube channel, you'll find it. We did it. It's probably 2 years ago
at
now, but
least. Yeah, it's been a long time
yeah,
ago.
but we have done a
Yeah.
story on her.
Didn't we do a
Oh,
story because my son, I think we did a story on her because my son at the
that's
time in his
right.
college, his professor knew Robin Lee Rowe or was related to her. Like he was associated with that case and had told them about it, and he told
That's
us
right.
about it, and we decided to do that case. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Cranky. Their notes would say, "Prepare for voluminous religiosity." Oh, no shit.
Yeah,
Right? I think you're right, Anna. I think she very well could be out of Idaho before Chad's trial starts. Like between his trial and Kober. Oh my God.
agree.
Oh, that's going to be a busy time period.
It really is because we're also going to be dealing with Nicholas Alverdian by then.
Yeah, we will. That is true. Oh, did you find the
I
Robin Lee
did
Rowe video?
find it. Yeah, so I put a link in for
Is that
that.
more chaos than we need? It is.
Right?
Way more chaos
Totally.
than we need. Yeah.
Well, not to mention that we also have the guy who killed that family of four recently,
Oh, yeah.
John, Major John.
Major. Yeah. What's his face?
I can't think of
Yeah.
his last name. But yeah, that one as well.
Major
They're all going to kind of
jackass.
come up. Also,
Yeah.
uh, last week, the Fruitland police announced that they have finished their investigation surrounding Michael Vaughn and have
Ah,
turned their recommendations over to the prosecution, including their uh, recommendations and or their affidavits for arrest. So we're just waiting to see if or
I
when
wonder if they're
the
doing a grand jury.
yeah. Oh boy, it really makes you wonder because as of yet, no arrests that we have seen. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Dorman, right. But
Gorman,
yes,
that's
no.
right.
Major Jackass. I like that name better.
For sure.
Creepy shithead. What else? What else is there?
I think
You
that's
learned some
it.
stuff about the prison, didn't you? Okay.
That was pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk through some of the transcript of John Thomas. So John Thomas is one of Lori's defense attorneys, and he did the absolute weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I honestly think if John Thomas gave that closing and that sentencing recommendation anywhere but here, the dude would probably be like under sanctions or something. It was so fucking bonkers.
I wasn't sure if he was giving his closing statement there or his recommendation or in fast and testimony meeting because that's what it sounded
Right.
like.
Hmm.
That was
So
wild.
he first starts out talking about himself. He and Archibald both did that. I find it weird and really pretty distasteful
Mhm.
that they do that. It's weird. He was talking about, when he was sworn into the bar, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
It's his sacred oath to uphold the Constitution. Yeah, no shit, dude. Um, so he talked about that it was, his job to make sure the state meets the burden of proof. Of course, we don't. We do all know that. But then he found he was talking to his wife because he was looking at taking a different job as a public defender, and he asked her, what he should do, and she reminded him that Jesus was probably not a prosecutor.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's this fairly open comparison to himself
Mhm.
and Jesus Christ, which was a
Mhm.
super fucking weird. Considering all of Lori's delusional shit, why would you bring religion into this at all?
At all. What he
I
said that yeah, the way he said that yeah, Jesus wasn't a prosecutor and he knew he that Jesus would have been advocating. That's what he said. Jesus would have been advocating. Advocating for someone who murdered her children?
right.
Okay. I mean, it's the way our legal process is set up. I can totally honor that, but yeah, why?
I mean, we're talking about a triple murderer here. This is not. I could see that in a different kind of case. Um, Paula, he sounded like he was justifying giving Lori her temple recommend.
Yeah, he did.
That's pretty true.
Well, and then he
Um,
said that he prayed that he, meaning Jesus or Christ, would give him the right words to say today.
what the
What?
fuck, dude? You're an attorney.
Oh.
Ugh, okay. So then he goes into when he's going to give the court a recommendation regarding this case. His recommendation is a message of peace and joy and hope,
Yes.
and peace and love and joy and hope.
Hmm.
And everyone, including the judge, looked at him like, this is after all of the victims that they allowed to speak have given their impact statements. It was
Hmm.
so distasteful and out of touch.
Yeah.
He talked about that so many people have been touched in a negative way by this case. Yeah, by your client,
Hmm.
the devastation around this case. But everything that he said separated Lori from the case
Yeah.
over and over again, which was very strange.
Hmm. There has been
And
a
his,
lot of hurt. A lot of
yeah,
hurt. A lot of hurt to go around. No, that would indicate this was anybody else's fault besides Lori's.
right.
No.
So gross.
Yeah.
Um, so he goes on about that kind of creepy, weird stuff and kind of, talks about, the various family members and friends who were touched by the case and blah, blah, blah. And he said that hurt can sometimes manifest as hate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you have no right to be confronting these victims like that. Also,
Right.
was this statement for? I mean, I know technically it was for Judge Boyce, but Judge Boyce did got nothing from this other than to think that John Thomas is a wackadoodle, man. The
Well,
whole
he
time I
was
kept thinking,
simmering.
oh, he was. You could see on his face he was doing everything he could to stay stone faced.
Hmm.
And I just kept thinking, why does he think that this is a statement that is going to affect the judge
Right.
in a positive way for Lori? I just could not get it.
Then he quoted Martin Luther King.
Yeah, he quoted freaking Martin Luther King. That is the most gross, distasteful, white bag of mayonnaise shit I have ever seen in my whole life. What are you
Hmm.
doing? Light can't drive out light, only or hate can't drive out hate, only darkness. It's a famous quote. We all know it.
Yeah.
Was it in relation to a triple murderer who killed her own children? No, it definitely was not.
No.
It was, yeah, she's not the person she plays on TV. She's the most hated woman in America. I would
Maybe the
say
world.
that
Yeah.
was giving her a lot of celebrity, which is weird and
Hmm.
gross.
Yeah.
Also, not true. We all know that's Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, uh, but yeah, Thomas did sound like he had no clue why he was there. Like this was not. This was supposed to be his plea to the judge to give her a lower sentence.
Yeah. If you had been able to get to know Lori the way I have during this time,
Uh,
what?
I'll take a real hard pass on that. Why does anyone want to get to know her? She fucking killed her kids, you know?
Yeah.
He says hate will never bring closure. Okay, but what you're talking about will? A
Yeah.
counselor you are not, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Martin Luther King quote, I could not fucking believe he did that.
Hmm. Oh, and then
But
the
how do we
whole
stop the hurt and pain? I was like, that's not your job. Your job is to
right,
recommend a sentence here. What are you're
right,
trying to do a real shit job of counseling these victims?
right.
Horrible.
Or shaming them for being
Yes.
angry, shaming them
Yeah,
for
for
hating
feeling
Lori.
hate over this,
It
which
was a very
what, dude?
patriarchal move of
It
telling
was.
these women how they're allowed to feel, which was
Yes,
super, super gross.
it
What
really was.
really killed me was we saved her life. We saved
Oh,
Lori's life, and that is a win for all of humanity. You
yeah.
motherfucking kidding me? Who's humanity? What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
That
What
one
are you talking
killed
about?
me.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well, and when he was talking about the kids and the milestones that they won't hit, yes, dude, we know your client took that away from them. Why are you talking about this? We need to replace hurt. And that can only come about from love and compassion.
Yeah.
And that he thinks that each person touched by this case, that they can heal and find some semblance of peace again. Well, it won't be from your words, okay? Because you're the defense attorney. This is not your job.
No.
And if Lori could speak to each one of those people who've been hurt by this case, not by her actions, but by this case or been affected by this case, her message would be one of love. Her motto is love is the key. I mean, like
Her motto.
listening
Yes.
to this shit, if you were in that courtroom and a family member of someone who died from this case, would you be ready to leap over that half
Mhm.
wall and kick his ass? Because I would.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, I can't
what in
imagine how
the
murderous they must have
fuck?
been.
Well, and Lindsay Blake is like staring at him. Like,
The way Lindsay was
she just
staring
is
at
like turned, looking right at him, like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
him. Lindsay's
The
face was
prosecution
absolutely
were,
priceless.
they were just stunned by this shit.
Well, what have
Right.
you
Lori
said that
couldn't.
was Lori rubbing off on him? And I went, oh.
I know. That's part of it. I'm like, Jesus, did she convert him?
It also makes you wonder in all of the meetings they've had with her, trying to get something from her to defend her with, if
Right.
it has just been this kind of stuff that she spewed today, you know, if
And
all
it's
it's
all they
been has
got.
been religious speak and stuff, and that's really the only kind of conversation they've ever had with her.
Hmm.
But
I think so. I mean, to hear her talk, it was like when they
mhm,
talked about that they didn't always get along with her, I thought that was hilarious. Because
mhm.
yeah, she's nuts and a pain in the ass. You don't have to like her, remember?
Yeah.
Everything she says to us and everything she does is love. No, it is insanity and hate disguised as love, dude.
Yeah.
You can't really see the evil behind that mask.
Mhm. I think she broke the attorneys. Maybe she did. Yes.
Maybe
Somebody
she did.
asked
I
if
mean,
John is oh, go ahead.
if John is what?
Death penalty attorney. He is ish. You
Hmm.
have to have
He's
served on a certain
training.
amount, yeah, of death penalty cases as a second chair before you can be a first chair. And so he was second chair on this case, working on getting to that point. Now, since this ended up not being a death penalty case, I don't know if it helps him, or maybe it does because it was a death penalty case until they got it off the table. I don't know how that works. So I'm not really sure about that.
I don't either. I don't either. But I mean, if he thinks that he like did a good job here, he's an idiot.
No. Well, and the objections. Yeah. Dear
The
God.
oh, the objections during the victim statements, I was like, I think Judge Boyce was seriously considering punching his face in. The last time he said overruled, please continue.
Mhm.
That was pretty great. The
He
way
put
he
on his
talks
bad
about
voice right there. Yeah.
he did. You could see. Well, I had bet when they had that one sidebar, I bet he told him to cool it on that and knock that shit off,
Mhm.
because he wasn't happy about it.
Well, and
And
it
then
was
he
the
came back
last
and
time that
did it
he
again.
entertained it too.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
dude, you are in deep shit right now. And then he goes on to talk about what a wonderful person Lori was right up until she killed her children.
Even Kay said she was a
Oh,
wonderful mother. Get Kay's name out of your mouth. Are you kidding me?
yeah, that
How
is the
dare you
second time
twist
they have
Kay's
done that to
words?
Kay.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
And
And then
Kay
he
has
said there's a lot
that.
of confusion and misunderstanding about how this ultimately came to pass. I'm
Mhm.
like, who's confused, dude, besides you?
Because if there was
Who's
confusion and
confused?
misunderstanding, why didn't you put up a defense?
Right? You sure
There
didn't talk
was a
about that
whole
during the
last,
trial.
yeah, 5 weeks of trial that you could have brought up any of those confusions and misunderstandings and worked on clearing those up, but you sure as hell didn't. So let's not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew.
Well, and then what he ends with is that, my last topic is of healing and hope. What? No, your last topic should be what is your sentencing recommendation for your extremely guilty client?
Yeah.
And he talked about how the first, and so, the Idaho code says, that sentence they have to consider protection of society. Yeah, well, that was covered very clearly in Rob Wood's statement. Second is rehabilitation, of which they presented nothing about what kind of rehabilitation could help her. And I'll tell you why. It's because there isn't any.
Yeah.
Like Rob Wood said, there's no, in the diagnoses that they had, in the statements from the doctors, there was no prognosis. And what that means is there's no treatment plan that leads to a place where she's well,
Yeah.
because there isn't one, not for what she's
No.
got, because she's a narcissist,
Mhm.
yeah, who has
Yep.
killed people.
Yep.
It
Well, yeah,
just
he had a
so
sentencing
bizarre.
recommendation.
He did finally, but it took forever to get there because we all had to be thinking about how we were going to bring Lori hope. And
Yeah.
it was like, hope of never getting out of prison? Check. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
That's
just,
true. He did reference joy and then never really got back to that I can think of.
he
Uh
didn't.
what the
But
joy
then he
piece was
did,
supposed to be about. Yeah.
but the stuff that he said about saving her life, and that's a win for all humanity. And it's not anyone to be credited or blamed, although clearly his little halo was a shining up there
Mhm.
about who got that done, which was really gross.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then, we're supposed to, life without parole gives a defendant no hope,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, no hope
Good.
of getting out and killing anyone else. Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's what we're looking for here. So
Yeah.
weird. Right. They did know she was indefensible, but to
Oh,
take
yeah.
it in this direction
Well, and she refused to
was so
participate in her
strange.
defense. She didn't give them anything
No.
for the
And
defense
she,
or for the sentencing. Nothing.
yeah, she would not participate in the gain, in doing the gain evaluation. She would not participate in
Mhm.
any of it. And so then what, we're supposed to, give her some hope for what?
And she
Clearly,
wouldn't
she's
allow
a
them to
person who
use
should never
mental
get out.
health. They could have
Yeah.
used mental health as a defense. It's not a full defense in Idaho. There's no uh, insanity plea, but they could have used it as a
No.
defense with the jury to at least, help
Yeah.
them to see, if they could have, how ill she is. But she refused to let them do that.
Right. Well, and then during they're supposed to be presenting in that pre-sentence report mitigating factors. Here are reasons why she did what she did. Here are things that maybe she didn't have control over, that kind of thing. But she
Hmm.
refused to participate, and so they had very little information that the judge even used because she didn't participate in the evaluations.
Hmm.
This is the part that made me want all of it made me want to throw up. But he says this. Um, her hope will benefit society. So if we give her hope that she might maybe get out someday, that we haven't thrown her away, she had that there's hope that will spread to society. In
Yeah.
what fucking way, dude? In what way?
Yeah.
We will have essentially thrown her away. She has no incentive to rehabilitate. She very clearly has no incentive to rehabilitate all on her own, you know?
Yeah. Nobody wants a 70-year-old woman in prison.
Right.
Oh, yeah, we do. No, yeah.
Yeah.
In
Can I
this
rate?
case,
Yeah.
for sure,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Right. She'll change her behavior and routines and habits. And by the time she's 70, she'll just be a different person. No, she won't. No, she will not at all. She's done nothing to show that she is even sorry about what happened.
Right.
It's just so gross.
Yeah.
So, what he suggested was 20 years fixed with the possibility for um, let's see, let me read it. Just trying to find it. We asked the court for a 20-year fixed term plus life indeterminate concurrent for all 5 counts of murder and conspiracy to commit murder. We would ask the court to give Lori Daybell a 14-year concurrent sentence for the grand theft to run concurrent with each life sentence. Um, we can do this, Judge. We can move forward toward peace again and heal, which is what we really need to do. Thank you, Your Honor.
We can do this, Judge.
We can do it. We can give Lori hope.
There's no we, motherfucker. It's just the judge, and he is not as dumb
Yeah,
as you are.
no.
Yeah.
And then the judge turned around and gave her life without parole on all 5 murder counts.
Hmm.
3 of them are consecutive, which means she will serve 3 life sentences. She
Hmm.
won't because she'll be dead. And then
But
10 years total on the theft. It, it was so ridiculous. Right. Lori is a predator
yeah.
and she is really good at getting people involved in helping her out.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I saw Kaylin. Kaylin, and I agree with you. She said, I wanted to hear the judge say, you will die in prison. You will never see Chad Daybell or his storm again,
Hmm.
nor the sunset under your feet, or the sunset, or feel the Hawaiian sand beneath your feet. I thought
Yes.
somebody else say that they thought they might start sending her a "Wish you were here" postcard from Hawaii every 2 weeks.
That is so bad. And
Yeah.
yet, yes, so true. Well, before we move on to Lori's statement, which gird your loins, let's talk about something that might help us all focus moving forward. It's not hope for Lori Vallow. It is, in fact, Magic Mind. I know we've
It's
been
hope
talking
for the
about this
rest of
stuff.
us. Yes.
Yeah, it is hope for the rest of us. I know we've been talking about this a lot lately. Um, I love this stuff. If you guys haven't tried it, please be sure you do. I'm going to put up a link. Um, the Magic Mind folks gave us a discount code. So you get a discount over there if you use our code, and give you an opportunity to try it. If you are tired all the time, if you have trouble focusing, if you feel tense a lot, these are all reasons why this can be of help to you. And of course, I'm not a doctor. This is a supplement. This is not medication and should never be replacing medication without discussing it with your doctor first. But this is a really great way to boost your energy during the day
Mhm.
without getting jittery, without having a crash. Um, can we mix it with the mermaid gin? Why not? But you're supposed to drink it in the morning though. So I mean, if you drink mermaid gin in the morning, awesome. Please do. But I will tell you that in my ADHD brain has benefited a great deal from Magic Mind and is going to continue because I'm going to keep using it because it's making a positive impact for me. Magic
Mhm.
Mind cocktails, yeah. My only problem with that is I don't drink in the morning. But the nice thing is it's little, so you just shoot it. It's a couple swallows. It's not hard to
Yeah.
get down at all. It tastes good, and it is really just helpful to get your brain a braining. What's in it? Matcha. Let me tell you. Oh dear, it's so small that even these glasses that are supposed to do that for me are not doing it. So it's got matcha in it, adaptogens, nootropics, immunity, vitamin C, D, and echinacea. So I'll read it off the bottle for you. It does have caffeine, but only 55 milligrams. So it's not a huge shot of caffeine. That's not the point of this. It
Yeah.
gives you some energy, yes, but it's not going to send you into the stratosphere.
No.
Let's see. So it has olive oil, matcha, ashwagandha, bacopa maniri, rhodiola rosea, cytocholine, sodium, echinacea, chlorophyll, turmeric, organic lion's mane. Let's see. Organic cordyceps,
Wow.
L-theanine, natural caffeine, vitamin C, sea salt, B3, um, saffron, vitamin B2, organic vitamin D3, and vitamin B12.
Wow, I didn't realize that it had the mushrooms in it, the cordyceps and the
Oh yeah.
lion's mane.
Well, yeah. That's what when you see things that say nootropics,
Mhm.
that means
Okay.
um, it's got yeah, that's what that means is the
Mhm.
various kinds of mushrooms. You know what? The olive oil, there's not very much in here. And no, I've not had any bathroom issues at all.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Um, I've not had any issues with that in the least. But yes, cranky, shrooms, right? What's wrong with the stratosphere? The only problem I have with the stratosphere is it's very jittery for me, and then I fall off the stratosphere and I hit the ground. Does it help with anxiety? I think that it does because most of these kinds of energy shots give me anxiety. This one
Mhm.
does not. There are some calming elements to it. Part of it is meant to be relaxing so that it's like energy and focus, but it's not like 12 cups of coffee.
Yeah. And Jessica, I've not struggled with sleep at all with it.
Oh no, me either. But you take it in the morning. But I am very sensitive to, caffeine later in the day and stuff like that hasn't given me any problems. Gigi, you would have to ask your doctor if it's okay with thyroid problems. To my knowledge, there's nothing, but you'd want to check with your doctor on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, stratosphere withdrawal is a thing. It is. Yeah. There
Yeah.
is a lot of stuff in this little shot.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool stuff. And it doesn't
Yeah.
taste bad. The green drink stuff that makes me nervous. If I have to put something in my mouth, I better know it's not going to make me. But it the first time I drank it, I had a chaser in one hand and I was ready and I was afraid it was going to make me retch. Not at all. It was actually just it's a little bit sweet, but it wasn't like crazy sweet and I was good. Have you seen it spike your blood pressure or sugar, Chris?
Not at all. There's only 3 carbs in it.
Um,
So it's slightly sweet, but not very. I'm also a type 2 diabetic skeptic, and no, it hasn't bothered me in the least.
yeah.
And honestly, like, see how little. Okay, this is my lemonade I'm drinking right now. This is Magic Mind. See how little it is. So
It's a
it's not
swallow,
a lot.
really.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It is. So check it out. check out, we're magicmind.com/truecrime20. You get a discount through us. They have a couple of different ways. You can just buy it outright to try it. You can also do a subscription, which cuts the cost by quite a lot. If you try it out and like it and want to keep going with it, I know I'm going to keep going with it because it is helping me a lot. So
Yeah.
be sure and
Needed
check
help
that
with the
out.
thinking. Yep.
It really does. And I don't know what happened when I had my hysterectomy. I think I also had a brainectomy and they forgot to tell me. Because I've had so much trouble since my hysterectomy with energy and focus. So bad. And it
Hmm.
really is a lot better. All right.
Well,
And with that, we took a little break. Oh, that's okay, Noe. Thank you. Uh,
we'll take it.
Noe posted our code is truecrime20. You just go to magicmind.com/truecrime20. But yeah,
Yeah.
think Lori would benefit? No, because this is good stuff. And she doesn't get good stuff. She's
No,
going to be
she gets
drinking
Kool-Aid now.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
She gets Kool-Aid, that's all. And not even the name brand Kool-Aid, not even the good stuff. And not
Winco.
even the sugar-free kind.
Yeah. She gets
The
flavor
stuff
right
that's
now.
gonna rot your teeth. Yeah, Flavorite. There you go. Lord gets Flavorite.
Hmm.
Funny. Okay. So let's talk about Lori now. Her transcript is a lot shorter. She only talked for about 8 minutes.
Yeah.
It was Flavor Aid. Yep, there's another one. That's another one of those generic Kool-Aids. Um, I think we were all on pins and needles about whether she was going to talk or not, and that her attorneys indicated that she might at the beginning of the hearing, and everyone was like, "What? What? She's going to speak?
Hmm.
She didn't even speak at her own damn trial, but now she's
Hmm.
going to speak here."
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's
I
talk
think we
about
were
it.
all, when she started, we're kind of like, it's happening. You
I
know?
cannot believe it. But it brings so many things together, I think, to hear what she said. So first, she quoted a scripture from the New Testament, and this was the most tone deaf thing I think I've ever seen in my whole life. She said, "This is the quote." He said, Jesus says, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her." And then in the first verse of chapter 15, Jesus says, "Ye judge after the flesh, I judge no man, and yet if I judge, my judgment is true." Bitch
What?
ass say what? We're like, well, let's just stone you right here then, because none of us are murderers. You dumb bitch. What? Oh
Yeah.
my God. That was the judge. His face when she read that, I was watching him because he kind of did like taken aback a little. And I
Hmm.
mean, he's awesome because he's very he's so stone faced, but even he had a reaction to that. Right? No, no, he says, I think of her more as an Old Testament girl. Exactly. But I mean, all of this implying that in some way she is Jesus or she is connected to Jesus after her attorney compared himself to Jesus. The
Hmm.
dovetailing between their two statements was so weird to me. I
Creepy.
was like,
Yeah.
I think maybe John Thomas needs deprogramming,
Hmm.
right? Good thing she didn't speak at the trial. She totally took that scripture out of context. Totally. But it was
Hmm.
also an admonition, like the court and everyone else judging her, for murdering
Hmm.
her children. What?
You can throw stones at me, but Jesus won't judge me.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah.
So then she says, Jesus knows me and Jesus understands me. I mourn with all of you who mourn my children and Tammy. I'm like, get Tammy's name out of your bitch ass mouth right now.
Hmm. Yeah.
But this accidental
Hmm.
deaths happen, suicides happen, fatal side effects from medications happen.
Yeah.
So these are her theories, and we know that they tried to push the medication thing during the trial a little
Yeah.
bit. But the accident and the suicide, really? Where were these
Hmm.
defenses at your trial?
Interesting. So I'm going to assume then that the suicide would have been Tylee and the accidental death would have been JJ. Wow, that is
Mhm.
one talented suicide. I'll tell you that right now.
Right, right. Kaylin, I have a question for her about JJ being a grown up in heaven working. What was that about? We have work to do after we die. That's very much Mormon doctrine.
Mhm.
That's Mormon belief that
Mhm.
when the second coming happens and the resurrection occurs, everybody is around age 30
Mhm.
and like at the in the prime of their lives, physically, that kind of thing. And yes, that Mormons believe that they're busy proselytizing to all the dead not Mormons so that they will accept their baptism for the dead, their confirmation for the dead, their sealings for the dead,
Mhm.
which are marriages basically. That they're all out there still doing the work even after they're dead.
Mhm. One thing she said about JJ is that JJ is engaged, and some people took that to mean like betrothed. That's not
Right.
what that meant. That
No.
meant engaged in the work, engaged in
Yes.
missionary
Yeah.
work, in other words.
We were
Yeah.
taught this kind of stuff as little kids
This
all the
sounds
time.
very, very familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then she goes on to give her near death experience, which Sister Summer jumped right on with East Idaho News and talked to Nate about and said, I have never heard that story before in my life.
Yeah.
You know who thought it was familiar though? You guys, have you seen the stuff Julie Rowe has been putting out on social media? Do you remember Julie Rowe? She's from the very beginning of this case. She had connections with Chad. She does a lot of like quasi psychic and energy work. I do not like to say those things because what she does is bullshit.
Mhm.
But she said that Lori's near death experience sounds a whole lot like one she has talked about having.
Mhm.
I don't know if any of them are true, but I
I'm
was like, but
guessing
some
it's
of the
the book
stuff that
she wrote
Julie
with
said,
Chad. See,
yes, oh,
she
that's
did a
true.
book through Spring Creek Press, Chad and Tammy's book company, and I believe it is that book where she talks all about her NDE.
That's
Yeah,
right.
but Lori sounds like essentially told Julie Rose's story. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe, or they both made it
yeah,
up. I don't know. Um, Near death experiences are a big deal for Mormons because they
yeah.
use people's near death experiences as confirmation of what they see the spirit world,
Mhm,
which is the afterlife. That spirit world is a Mormon phrase.
mhm,
They use it as confirmation that they're right about what it's
mhm,
going to be like after we die. Um, yeah. So, but yeah, if you can, go look for Julie Rowe, but be prepared. But the story that her sister Stacy came and took her, the Stacy was there with her. This is her
mhm.
sister who had died. This is
Yeah.
Melanie's mother.
Mhm,
But she said that she came back to her body, but that she didn't really want to. She wanted to stay in heaven. And I kept thinking that is such a weird thing to say when all you've done is send people to wherever they're going.
mhm,
If you wanted to go, why didn't you just go and
mhm.
let the rest of these people live their lives?
Yeah.
She said a lot of things that were so contradictory and just didn't make sense.
Mhm,
But she's now saying that because of that NDE, she has access to the spirit world. And there are
mhm.
lots of people that have NDEs and then talk about having spiritual experiences
Oh,
afterward that they
yeah.
hadn't had before. That's a very common thing. That this is
Yeah.
her excuse for why she's had many communications.
Mhm,
Um, this is how she said it, from people now living in heaven,
mhm,
including my children, Tylee, JJ, my sisters, Stacy and Lolly, my aunts and uncles, my grandparents. I've had many communications with Jesus Christ because here we are again with the
mhm.
Jesus
Back
Christ
to
stuff.
this. Yep.
Yeah. Talking about how she has lots of angelic visitors. Um, she knows that her children are happy and busy in the spirit world because of my communications with my friend Tammy Daybell. Oh my God. Oh,
Mhm,
stop talking about her.
mhm.
I know that she is also very happy and extremely busy.
Yeah.
What?
Popular.
Yeah,
Popular.
yeah,
This isn't high school, Lori.
no,
Popular? Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
So gross.
And my
And
friend, my
she's more,
eternal friend, Tammy. Yes.
yeah. Well, I posed this in our chat, and I think some people misunderstood what I said, but I was thinking about it because Mormons believe in polygamy in the afterlife. And if a
Mhm.
man is sealed to his wife, married in the Mormon temple, and
Mhm.
she dies, he can go on to marry another woman and be sealed in the Mormon temple. And I know that they were not actually sealed in the Mormon temple, but Lori believes that she is sealed with Chad. There's a whole big part of their story. And I went, when she referred to her like that, I went, it's like they're sister wives in her mind.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
referring to her in this way, I realized this is from some of that because Lori was actually sealed to Charles.
Mhm.
So she actually, if she was following her own actual belief system, would still be married to him.
Was she sealed to Charles?
I think so.
I did
They were
not think
going
so.
really? Okay, maybe I'm off
Mm-mm.
on that. I
Oh,
know that
maybe I am, but I didn't think so.
he was a convert and kind of working through the process. And so maybe they didn't get married in the temple or didn't get sealed. I am not sure. But that hit me very much as that acknowledgement of polygamy. That's
Yeah.
why they're,
Yeah.
eternal friends, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, my beautiful children. Oh my God.
And that JJ came to her and told her, "Mom, you did nothing wrong."
Yeah.
Oh, that's very
So
convenient. Yeah,
gross.
okay.
Yeah, all of this, Jesus knows me, Jesus knows what I did, Jesus knows I didn't murder anyone. How convenient. It's so dark.
Mhm.
I don't like using the word evil because I think it's kind of lost its meaning, but that's all I could feel through this whole thing is that she's using things that are people's beliefs about love and heaven and family being together and people being on the other side waiting for us when we die in the darkest, most fucked up way I have ever
Mhm.
heard.
Yeah.
Also, this is 100% about her. There's no I'm sorry. There's no remorse. There's no taking responsibility for the things that she did. There's no talking about the people who died. That's not in here. This is about her.
Yeah.
I know how wonderful heaven is, and I'm homesick for it every single day.
Mhm.
Except she was real desperate to get the death penalty off the table, wasn't she?
Yeah. So help me understand how that works. Yeah.
Yeah. This
But
part, I know,
also, I was so confused to not hear about Charles and Alex coming to see her. What
right?
did they have to say?
How about Joe?
How about
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when she says,
Mhm.
I know we all lived in heaven before we were born on earth, and we were all adult spirits in the heavenly realm. We chose to come to earth as mortals. That is very much Mormon belief. That's called the pre-existence. And that's what Mormons believe, where people were before they were born into this life.
Yeah.
Um, she says, I do not fear death, but I look forward to it. Really? Surprised you didn't want that old death penalty then.
Right. You could
Yeah.
have ridden out of here a little sooner, maybe. Not really. Idaho would have never put her to death anyway, but, you know,
No. Mm-mm.
yeah.
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 So she
She'll
talks
probably
about
claim
how
that. Oh, sorry. Halo said she'll probably claim that Charles visited her at his trial and say that she did nothing wrong. Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
right. Exactly. Well, and then she talks about how she had to come back to help her children and others in the future when she had the NDE. And
Hmm.
I'm like, really? So you thought you had to come back to help people, and this is what you did with that?
Hmm.
Then she goes on about Tylee being in physical pain and basically implies
Hmm.
that it was good for her to be dead because she hurt so much.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, whatever. She
Yeah.
called out Tylee's biological father as a sex
Hmm.
offender, of which he was never charged
No.
or convicted of anything.
I will
And
die
I
on the
don't,
hill that the prosecutor should have objected and said that
yeah,
should not go on the public record. He was never convicted of anything, nor was he ever even charged with anything. She shouldn't have
right.
got to say that and put that on the record.
She shouldn't have. I mean, if we're going to object to victim impact statements, why can't we object to her?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, stop worrying, mom. We are fine. That's what Tylee has told her when she comes to
Hmm.
visit her.
Because they know how much I worry.
Yeah, they know
Hmm.
how much I worry.
Mhm.
Yeah, and how JJ came and said, "You didn't do anything wrong, Mom." What? And
Mhm.
she talks about JJ and how, about him, how he's busy and he appeared as an adult and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And about her eternal friend Tammy and how she's extremely busy helping her family. Yeah, I imagine she is. Her
Yeah.
family who are reeling from her murder.
Mhm.
So her last part of her statement, it's just also gag worthy. She said, "My beautiful children, Tylee Ashlyn and Joshua Jackson, rest safely this day in the arms of Jesus. My wonderful friend Tammy Daybell rests safely in this day in the arms of Jesus. And I look forward to the day when we are all reunited and I too will rest in the arms of my Jesus."
Yeah.
Just, I, I
Uh,
still now am almost speechless to read
yeah.
it.
Well, I am not a religious guy, but I think that I can safely say, speak for most religious folks when I say that I think that whoever her Jesus is and who everyone else's Jesus is might be a
Not the
little
same guy.
different. Yeah,
Did she ever even meet Tammy? I believe she met Tammy
she did.
once. Yeah. Will Arizona have so much Mormon speak during the trial? I don't know because there are parts of Arizona that are very Mormon. Are they as Mormon as here?
No,
God, I hope not.
no, but I don't think so. But she'll have a new public defender there. So it'll be really interesting with her going to Arizona because we'll have a whole new legal team
Yeah.
to learn and yeah, it's going to be very different.
Who maybe
Yeah.
won't use their religion the way that Thomas did. Well, and
Hmm.
so did Archibald. I mean, he did some of this in the trial too.
Yeah, you
But
did.
it when you listen to Thomas and then you listen to her and how they weirdly dovetail, it's creepy. I
Hmm.
legitimately am concerned for Thomas.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell he was thinking.
Hmm.
But that sentencing recommendation was not a sentencing recommendation.
No.
It was something else, and I don't even know who it was for other than Lori. It was like
Yeah.
he was speaking to her, not the judge.
Hmm.
So weird.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, why did I say that Idaho would never execute her? They won't. Robin Lee Rowe, like
Mm,
we talked about before, she's been on death row in Idaho for 30 years, still has not been executed. There is still no plan to execute her. And Idaho has never in its entire history executed a woman ever.
yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
So
So
we have
it
felt all
just
along
didn't
like it
matter.
it really didn't matter that they dropped the death penalty because it wasn't going
Hmm.
to happen anyway.
No.
Now Chad's a whole other deal, a whole other deal. But if they drop the death penalty for him to plead, I mean, I think he would be a complete moron not to do it
Hmm.
because, I mean, a lot of the evidence that was in Lori's trial was just as damning, if not more damning, than for him than her.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and I don't know. I mean, I imagine they're going to put up an actual defense,
Yeah.
maybe. The way that this has been, there's been no defense at all, and there wasn't even a defense
Yeah.
in that sentencing recommendation. Really,
No.
there wasn't
No.
anything specific to her about here are reasons why she should get less time, other than let's give her hope.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was just
yeah,
bananas.
yeah,
See, I like that too, Kaylin. Her having a female public defender she can't flirt with would be something to see. I think her whole
yeah.
legal team should be women, hardcore
I
women
think,
that aren't having her nonsense.
and a female judge. Let's see it all female. It would be great. She'll get her head,
Oh,
she'll get her face slapped over and over again.
hmm.
Yeah. Right. Do we think Thomas was trying to throw the trial? No. I think genuinely that's, I don't know, man. Why did he go that direction? It's so weird. But
Because she does.
ultimately, well, and
I
she
think
did
it's
agree
because
that
it's
she'd
all
had
she
adequate
talks about.
counsel. Yeah, that's true.
I love that the judge asked that. Made her say it out loud that yes, she's happy and pleased with the counsel with the representation she's had. Good, good. Let's get that on
Hmm.
record right now. Yep,
Yeah, yeah.
yep,
She doesn't have a lot of leg to stand on there, I don't think.
yeah.
Did
Kathleen, yes,
Arizona?
today.
Yep.
They issued it today.
Hmm. So
Yep.
now there's just going to be the process to extradite her.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Bob Motta said was saying he'd never seen anything like what John Thomas was doing. Right. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's what all of the attorneys I've seen online that have followed this case are absolutely dumbfounded by Thomas's
Mm-hmm.
statement.
And the objections during the witness statements. That is just not done.
Yes,
I've
the
never,
objections.
ever
What?
seen that before. Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. AZ does have the death penalty, and she is charged with first degree murder, which does qualify. So it's
Mm-hmm.
possible. We'll see,
And
man. They
Arizona's a
definitely want
lot
their
more
crack at
likely to
her.
put her down than Idaho is. So,
That is true. That is true. If
yeah.
she gets the death penalty, they'll probably house her in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
They should make her walk to Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just unreal.
It's mind-boggling, that is for sure. But can we all
See,
just
we
pause
thought
for
she was
one
charged with
moment?
conspiracy to a skeptic, but the charges came out today and they are not conspiracy.
Yeah. So
They
this is
are,
what has been. Yeah. This is what was published today. Is murder first degree premeditated? But you're right. It was a grand jury indictment of conspiracy. So we're confused about how and what's going on here. But this is what we're
yeah,
seeing.
because that's not what they originally said.
No.
So, very interesting.
Yep.
She did leave her brother out of her speech completely.
Yep.
Didn't speak about him at all.
Mm-hmm.
Unless one of those weird things about suicide was that I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Hauser with Jodi Arias in Arizona. Sure, Jodi Arias will kick her ass.
Wouldn't that be something? I wouldn't hate it.
Rebecca, if Mark Means was Lori's blonde-haired, blue-eyed son, then I wonder what she convinced Thomas he was to her. Her brother, maybe. I don't know, man. He needs to go see a deprogrammer. Something's not right.
Yeah. Yeah. That was really something. I was all the while wondering, what do you think that Archibald is thinking right now? Is he dying
I don't
inside?
know.
Is he like, John, shut up? You know, or is he really like, yeah, that was a great job, buddy?
I
Like,
can't
what did he
imagine that he would
think?
think that. When you consider what that statement was supposed to be and totally
Yeah.
was not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blown away, I tell you. Just blown away.
Yeah. Just wild. Well, I
And
feel better talking about it a little bit. Anything else y'all want to
I just want to
say?
say that Rob Wood is a goddamn rock star.
Yeah, he is.
That was so good. In fact, there was a tweet that I had wanted to share. Let me get to it. Uh, I shared it yesterday and sent it over to a friend that I think could probably pass it on to Rob because I think they summed this up really nicely. I don't know how to use Twitter apparently, or X or whatever it is now. This is from the
90s
page
clip art. I don't know.
Court Reporter SC.
Oh, yeah.
They're an awesome page to follow. Really good. They have a lot of good information. It was showing a picture of Rob hugging Kay afterwards. It says, "This is Rob Wood, the prosecutor that delivered one of the most powerful sentencing recommendations I've heard in a long time. I couldn't watch the screen when he was talking, but I heard every time his voice cracked under pressure of the emotions threatening to overwhelm him. This
Hmm.
man cared deeply for the victims and the families sat behind him. His burden was heavier than most of us will ever understand because justice is a scale we cannot control. This
Yeah.
was not a win for Mr. Wood. He practically vibrated with the self imposed obligation to get justice for Tylee, JJ, and Tammy. It wasn't a win because losing wasn't an option. He showed the
Right.
world a heartbreaking glimpse of who we've lost and will never know and who was responsible. I
Yeah.
applaud him for his professional restraint, but I respect him beyond words for his heart. Justice has been served in this world. Well done, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's it right here, right?
It is. It is. We've been so lucky with
Yep.
the work that these prosecutors have done. But the way he summed it all up and the way that he represented each one of those victims was
Yep.
absolutely stellar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think you're right, Halo. If Alex had lived, things could have gone a completely different way because he probably would have flipped on them, and I think that's what they knew.
Hmm. Well, he wasn't super high IQ or high functioning, and he was
Mm-mm.
not going to be too hard, I think, to get to crack if the police actually adequately questioned him.
Right. Absolutely. I agree. Right. If only we could get this kind of justice for everybody, like Alyssa Attorney. I know. I'm just still
Hmm.
sick about Alyssa Attorney. Whew. Well, that's what we have for you all tonight.
Yeah.
So thanks for walking this journey with us. If it's a straight, I mean, we're not done with Lori, but to have her sentenced in the women's prison is a weird bit of closure. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
really is. Feels good.
Now the Madison County Jail can finally be done with her for sure.
They got done with her so quick. I was hilarious to me that by 8 a.m. the next morning, she's got her mugshot at the women's prison. Like they were
Well,
like,
yeah,
they're
because
probably having a party.
I had talked to someone who knows, that day and said, "What are we looking at? How long could it be before they transfer her?" And they told me it could easily be a month. It just depends on if they have a bed, what kind of evaluations they want to have done first, what they're planning on doing. But yeah, they said it could be a hot minute before she's actually transferred out. I wake up the next morning and that bitch is gone. Yep.
Yeah,
Madison's
feels
like,
good to
no.
have her. Well, I guess she's still kind of in our community. The women's prison is only 50 miles from where I live. It's not that far,
Hmm.
but at least she's in there.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Yep. Love it.
So
Do you
we
think we'll ever
appreciate
see her
it
working at
all.
the fair?
No, no, I do not.
So we're our state fair, the Eastern Idaho State Fair, happens in Blackfoot, which is not very far from Pocatello. And some of the prisoners do get to work at the fair. They haul garbage, clean bathrooms, things like that. And it's money that, of course, goes on their books or whatnot. Yeah, inmates work at the
Mhm.
fair. But I'm quite sure that triple murderers don't get to work at the fair. But yeah,
No, I'm sure that they are nonviolent inmates.
but listen, if I saw
Yeah,
Lori
but
scrubbing
what a
toilets
thought.
at the fair, I'd run back in
Would
there
you
and use
want to
that
run up
bathroom
and
16
kick her in the
times.
taco from behind real hard? I, that's what I would want to do. Then I'd
Right?
land in there next to her, and I don't want that.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm, no.
Not good.
I know, I can start my
Well,
pen pal thing now. I've been waiting because I wanna
yes,
wait
you
to see what
can.
happens with Arizona, but yeah.
See where she's at. There you
Yeah.
go. Awesome. Well, thank you all very much. We will be back next week with all our usual stuff. We know there's a lot going on in the true crime world. Don't worry. We're going to get caught up on everything, but this has sort of dominated our week and our brains. So we needed to
Mhm.
get it out. So thank you
Yes.
for helping us out with that.
Absolutely.
You know what? We are the True Crime Squad. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, guys. Take care.